Welcome back, everyone. Seems like XRP is the talk of the town for 2024, and I think a lot of people are seriously excited about that.
The channel, Austin here. If you're new to me, hit that subscribe button.
So Austin has been talking about XRP for the last 3 years. I think a lot of content creators that survived the bear markets of 2022 and 2021 even, the content creators that did the videos in crypto, those are actually the ones that stayed here a long time. And that's what I find really exciting. Like, all these YouTubers, they do know something. Like, people say YouTubers do know nothing, but the difference is these YouTubers, including me, we've been in this crypto industry more than anyone else. And with XRP, we saw the bad side and we saw the good side.
Button, please hit that like button. We're going to talk about Ripple / XRP associated with the $5 trillion CBDC market that...
Now, this is interesting because I never heard about this one before. That's what really caught my attention.
...is coming at us. Whether you like CBDC, you hate it, you think it's a conspiracy, you think it's a thing, whatever you feel about it, it is a massive opportunity. And Ripple being in the business of moving money and having the technology.
So it seems like the biggest issue with payment systems right now, like the banks, is you usually need like 3 days to even get the info of getting a deposit. In crypto, it takes 5 minutes. And people are saying, yeah, but I have Revolut and the Revolut payment is instant. The issue is most people use the modern banks, like the good old-fashioned banks that don't work on Sunday, that don't work all the time. And I think that's where the real issue arises in that sense. Like, people aren't that much excited in that sense that it's just not working right now. It's not working in a good way.
And the partnerships and all of the infrastructure, they are poised to become one of the key figures in this marketplace. And remember, Ripple is a for-profit business.
So Ripple is probably going to make a ton of money for both the investors and everyone else involved. So that's the good thing about it. Like, Ripple does have a lot of opportunity to change the world.
Already up, running, obviously doing what it's been doing for a long time now, being in the business of moving money across international borders, either on the on the government side, on the business side, from a big business, or on the retail side, right? Retail is you and I moving money, to maybe...
Seems like money is moving fast in crypto, and that's the good positive thing about it, especially with Ripple. Who knows which pump is gonna be the next?
Our families across borders, things of that nature. All of that is there, and Ripple's been doing that, for a long time now. And this CBDC market is going to be massive. Again, however you feel, and quite honestly, irrelevant of how you feel or I feel about it, it's coming. And the tech and the knowledge that Ripple brings to the table and associated with that, I think that they're definitely poised to get a massive piece of that $5 trillion market. And that's worth a video. It's worth talking about, because you always need to understand that
I feel like Ripple has the massive potential, and that's why people buy it. Like, I think it's actually bought for the right amount, because most people buy it because they already know these things. Like, the big institutions, they already know these things in a sense. And that's what I think is happening right now with Ripple.
XRP is a component of a business, Ripple, right? And not losing sight of that. And a business that is profitable, running, ongoing, has massive utility that Ripple does. That's something to be aware of, is these opportunities, these initiatives out there.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking. He's actually correct. Like, Ripple is probably going to have tons of opportunities in the following, like, what? Next year? Next year is going to be tons of opportunities for the whole crypto market, but especially for Ripple, because now that they won the lawsuit, they have a massive product to showcase for it.
These possible big, massive market segments that are out there, i.e. the $5 trillion CBDC market. So that's kind of what I wanted to convey to you. Market overall right now today is down a little bit. I know that XRP is down a little bit today. It's kind of one of those days.
I'm not really too concerned if the market is down. Like, what matters is the long-term product. And if you have the long-term product, then you really have everything. Like we really don't need anything else. And that's what most people are really excited about in a sense. Like that is all you need.
I think that everybody's eyeing the end of the year, and quite frankly, I think a lot of people are now starting to focus inward towards their families for Christmas.
Exactly. They're not kind of focusing on crypto right now. They're focusing on other things like buying gifts, buying consumerism. Maybe they're even selling some crypto to buy gifts. And it's completely normal after we saw such a huge bull run to see a small dip. The Terra Luna Classic proposals are a real game changer, and they have people divided. And that's the biggest thing that's happening with Terra Luna Classic right now. What's happening, everyone? I'm your host, Coin Central, and this time we're going to be happening with everything that's happening behind crypto. So right now, what I'm seeing is crypto basically taking a slow upturn, all these tokens improving, all these tokens getting a possibility of a high bull run. But Terra Luna Classic has been dumping. Why? Well, because the community can't decide if what they should do with some tokens that they could burn or not. And this is the important factor. Like people don't want to give access to the, I'm guessing like developers to change the blockchain so anyone can access your crypto or change it. Like, so for example, if your crypto is lost, it's not like developers can say, oh, we can just, add the crypto back, because that would mean someone can abuse this and say, oh, I lost my crypto, and then end up selling it twice, right? And this is the crypto space right now. It's absolutely brutal in a sense. But the thing we need to know is crypto is just getting started, and Terra Luna Classic also. But it's not doing that well in terms of its community. It's very divided right now. It's actually so divided that we can see by proposals the community of Terra Luna is 50-50, and this reflects on the price, minus 10% today.
Coins. We want to see this overall decrease. If we can see that decrease, then we know that the survival or the recovery of the entire chain is definitely possible. Because getting this to a level to where it supports USTC, the only way that you can do that is by having a higher price. If you have a $5 price, that can easily support USTC at $1. If you have a $10 price, it can easily support USTC at $1. And this is why this proposal is so important. This seems to be kind of that last straw, the final like effort to kind of push forward.
This is very well said. Like they want to like set this tax policy. They want to get it out there. And I feel like this is where the changes are made, where people really want to go ahead and focus on the good stuff in that sense. Like they want to focus on everything that can be improved and not focus on everything that can't be improved. That's what I'm seeing right now with Terra Luna Classic. Like people are excited to see Terra Luna Classic going up in the near future.
In what we're looking for, a burn tax. They're looking to set a burn tax where you have, or an overall tax where you have 1.2 that goes towards the burn. The number that we're all comfortable with, we're all familiar with. We understood the impact that it did have within the first 3 weeks before we ended up backtracking. And now you look at the 0.5% tax. People were complaining about the 0.5% tax, but that did pass.
0.5% tax would be pretty much awesome, but Terra Luna Classic burns are amazing. Like this is a community-led proposal for a parameter change to adjust the on-chain tax rate to 1.5%. This would bring us back to the original 1.2% burn tax. With 0.3 to fund the chain, this is important because if you don't have that, well, that's a big problem. So that I like. That I really like. But it resulted in higher burns, more funding to chain overall without any discernible volume loss or on-chain capital flight. We believe a 1.5% total on-chain is reasonable and will be accepted by the community on a whole implementation. So 0.5% is not enough, but 1.5% could be increasing and could reach Terra Luna Classic to much, much more. And it's not that noticeable. Again, it's not going to be a game changer, but the thing is, it could improve so much in a good aspect that we could be seriously seeing some honest, good changes. And that's exactly what I wanted to see in that way. Like, really, this is really awesome stuff I'm seeing right now. And I'll keep you also updated with more about this pretty much soon. But yeah.
And with that passing, you now see more burns that are happening on chain than ever. So with the 1.2% tax, yes, it won't be absolutely game changing overall because we still need the exchanges to do what they're going to do, but at least this shows support, right? Because my plan And my thought process is to get the exchanges to burn 1%. Why would exchanges burn 1% if we're not even burning 1%? And
exactly. So it's kind of hard to agree the exchanges that they will burn like this amount, but it's a decent start, really. It's a decent start, and it's exactly what we need right now with Terra Luna Classic. Like, we need to start somewhere in that matter, and this is like the place to begin, the place to start, the place to go. So that's something I'm excited about, in that sense. Like, there is a possibility of real recovery, but only if we implement this, and we implement this nicely, not like just mess it up in the end. If we mess it up, then it's a big problem.
And typically they want volume to flow over there. So if we're doing 1.2% or 1.5% overall, then more people would be likely to go off chain, which is okay, right? Because that's where the burns will happen. The overall trades will happen. But people that understand and believe in the chain and want to do something with the chain, no matter what, will have that 1.5%. I still have my coins over here in Terra Station, and I would support the 1.5% overall to support the community.
1.5% isn't even noticeable, probably, except for the bigger whales, which is like $1,500 in every 100K they trade. So it's probably going to be noticeable on the bots. Like, they need to earn more, but I see like 61% are saying yes and no with veto. They're like trying to say no, never. They're trying to stop it. So that's pretty interesting, though, no? Like, that's a interesting thing, if you ask me. Overall, like, that's a awesome factor. But that being said, does seem like it's just getting started in all seriousness. Like, there's a lot of possibilities of where this could go.
With veto, if you are going to be skeptical about it, obviously get some sort of breakdown and get an understanding of how people feel about it. And if you truly feel that way, then go abstain, right? Or go no.
So yeah, if people aren't too sure, they can always abstain, and I think that's the big possibility a lot of people will do. In that sense, like, they might just abstain it and say, no, I don't want to do it. And you don't have to. You don't have to vote if you don't want, but there's big whales saying yes to this. There's big whales saying yes to this burn.
No, if you want to, but going no with veto takes away the funding that goes towards these type of proposals. And in order for us to get it right, you need to be able to have that funding out there. It's built by the community, right? The entire community is like, yeah, I want this to happen. And that's why, you're able to put this proposal out here, is because of the community coming together. There's a large group of people within a Telegram group that care about the burn tax. And I think you should too. The burn tax means so much to me because I feel as though that's the normal way that we can see burning, while everybody else is looking for anyone else to do it.
So yeah, the people are basically want the easy path, like seeing no burns, like someone else doing the burns, right? And I think this is the problem. Like, it's not gonna be a simple solution in that way. There's no simple fixes here, and this could be the best way to solve that problem, in a sense. Like, I do think there's a lot of chances here to see Terra Luna Classic proposals actually seeing tons of changes in that aspect. But we do need like action. We do need to see massive changes overall.
All the validators or anybody is looking for anybody else to do it. That's not the way that it goes. Understand that we need to do this together. Every single person needs to sacrifice something. And the way that we do that is by having every single place either taxed or have some sort of burn that's associated with it. We need all nodes. We need Orion money. We need all of these top validators, as well as all validators, to vote to get this passed. Because I want to see.
So yeah, Matthew Perry actually agrees with this one, and that's what gets me excited. He does say, like, okay, this might just work, guys, but we need approval of all people, not just one person, of everyone.
1.2% burn tax. I don't want to see it pulled back. I want to see it there forever. Because, well, not forever, but at least for the time being, until we see the overall supply decrease down to where it needs to decrease to. And then eventually we can figure out a path forward to where we build up the reserve. And as we have the reserve that's like depleted, we can have some sort of little tax associated again to build up the reserve. And I just want to let people know that this burn tax, as we have a burn tax on chain, it gives the exchanges freedom to implement that 1% tax that I want them to do. Now, this is not a guarantee that they will.
So this is like what Matthew Perry has been basically saying for a long time. And I think it's very important to say like that people wanted a burn, but they didn't want to do the hard work. And what Matthew Perry really wanted to do here is actually convince people in a fun way to do these burns, a fun way to convince these exchanges. Let's have competitions. Let's do all of this and that. And let's have a good time with burns. It's going to be fantastic. Everything is going to be okay. Sadly not. Like, sadly, that didn't happen. And we needed a lot more than just that. We needed a lot more of actual development, a lot more of movements. And we just didn't get them. We didn't get them at this point, and this was very frustrating for a lot of holders. So they ended up selling their Luna Classic in a way, like they sold everything. And the real reason is like there's no possibilities of actually crypto seeing like that massive rise if we don't see a burn, because you're gonna have like these massive whales sell a big supply. Sure, there are other ways to see like opportunity in crypto, to see like chance to see more price hikes, but nothing like before. And that's what I'm worried about, really. That's what really gets me confused, like in crypto right now. Like, where could Luna Classic stop in the next few days if it's gonna like keep increasing? If every single time like a whale buys, we start to see a huge dip. And that's what I'm also worried about. Probably Matthew Perry is worried about too in that aspect. Like, I think everyone is worried in some way in that sense. But hopefully this can be resolved and everyone can like stay happy. But we really need to see like what happens
to help them out. And I'm just going to watch them while they drown. That's what we're trying to get this.
Exactly. So I think that's the very good scenario. That's why I like Matthew Perry, because he gets very much on point. So I'm just going to watch while Terra Luna Classic starts crashing, and then I'll decide what to do. Like, that's a really sad part about Terra Luna Classic, is a lot of people just don't care about it. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate in that scenario that like people don't really care. They don't care about Terra Luna Classic, and there is chances for it to recover, but I don't know when they're gonna happen in that way. Like, I don't know when, how, why. So there is a lot of possibilities that Terra Luna Classic could be seeing another massive bull run. Now, I don't know if they're gonna have like some sort of utility. I definitely think people are expecting more utility for Terra Luna, and with that, we could get also more burn.
To sacrifice anything because we're greedy. Why are we being greedy?
Exactly. Like, a lot of people were saying, let's do more burns, and whales stopped buying in. They said, why would I buy this? This doesn't make any sense. Why would I buy this at all? And it's exactly what happened with Terra Luna Classic. There was no reason to buy it, in a sense. Like, it's very unfortunate. Like, nobody wanted to get in. So that being said, does seem like Terra Luna Classic is just getting started in a good way. It's not fading away or anything. It still has time. But it's like a baby. You got to nurture that baby. You got to like call it in. You got to make sure everything's right. You got to feed the baby. Or otherwise it's going to like it's not going to like go well, you know?
And that's all I have to say, is that we don't want to watch as Terra Luna Classic is drowning.
So yeah, we got to save Terra Luna Classic. We got to do something, not just stand here and say, wow, okay, we should do this and that. And that's why he advocates so much these proposals, because, well, they make a lot of sense. They do make a lot of sense to fix crypto right now. So I do think there's a huge possibility that crypto will rally in the following days even more so, and Terra Luna Classic shouldn't get missed out on behind. Be sure to smash that like button. I'll keep you guys updated with more news. Until next time, peace everyone. I do think there's a big misconception with Lido staking, and everyone says Lido staking is free money. It's really not, and I think that's where the big problem arises. So if you're holding your Ethereum staking, don't be too afraid. But also, like, there is risk. There's definitely a risk that we are seeing right now that a lot of people do not realize in that chance, that don't realize that is a problem. So I am excited to talk about this. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is your host, Coin Central. But the reason why I like Lido and Ethereum staking basically is it's actually good for the network. It's good for Ethereum. And people tell you to stake, just not in completely centralized entities. There's an inherent risk that Lido could contain a smart contract vulnerability or a bug. So if that happens, I do think Ethereum will crash like 40-50%. So probably around 30% like will get wiped out. That's the big thing. Like tons and tons will get wiped if that happens. And it's a problem. It's definitely a problem. If people don't realize it's a problem, well, it is. And people will notice that in a way. Like they will notice the crashes. And they might even end up selling a large, big chunk of their portfolio in that way. So that being said, does seem like crypto is just getting started in a way. It's just it's gonna be improving in a sense in the near future. So I am excited for Lido to improve. So there is more chances really, but the thing is, there's also technical risk. It's under active development, and there's no guarantee that the ETH has been developed error-free. So you basically get, in all these, if you don't stake for yourself, you get basically a promise token. So it's like, I call them a promise token because it's worth 0 unless someone is willing to pay for it, or unless there is active Ethereum that you can get back for it. And that's the big difference about it. Like, a lot of people don't realize that possibly, like the Ethereum you have now, it could crash. It could like crash if something happens, if the market goes bad. Now, these are such small scenarios. I would say like the percent chance of any of these scenarios happening is like 10 to 20% chance. And if this happens, crypto is going to be like really down under anyway. It's not going to matter anyway. So here's where I think is like the big difference in that aspect that I feel like is gonna like change the future of crypto. So I am definitely excited on what will happen next with crypto in that sense. Like there is possibilities that crypto could be seeing an ST Ethereum price risk. Users risk an exchange price of ST. So we saw that in 2022. That was another problem. And again, these are also problems with maybe if you're staking on Coinbase or Binance on centralized exchanges. This could also be the biggest problem. Now, the slashing risk is actually very small. To minimize this risk, Lido stakes across multiple professional, reputable node operators with multiple setups and with additional mitigation in the form of insurance that is paid from Lido fees. So this is a very small chance to happen. And then also, if Ethereum fails to reach required level of adoption, we could experience significant fluctuations in the value of ETH and ST. So this is actually adoption risk. Like they are saying like this matters as a whole. Like you shouldn't buy Ethereum if you don't trust that crypto will go down. And I think that's the big problem here. Like a lot of people think and say, yeah, well, the difference here is like, will you seriously buy Ethereum if you think it will crash or it won't perform well? And I think that's where the issue seriously arises with projects like that. So that's something that intrigues me really. But there are sorry about that, risk for sure. But are these risks worth your money and your time? Are you gonna lose like a lot of money overall? Yeah, probably not. Probably nothing will happen. But you still have to be safe, and that's where you have to realize the potential risk of crypto. Like nothing, no money is free money. So think of it as like that. That's where I think is the potential risk, like where people have to realize that nothing in this world is going to be free in that sense. It's going to be problematic. It's not going to be so simple. But if you like that, then go for it. It's actually a pretty decent setup. So I'll keep you guys updated with more news. Until next time, peace everyone.